Now let's install our first course of horizontal siding. Lock the first panel into the starter strip. Then, slide the panel into the corner post pocket and be sure you have allowed proper spacing. If the temperature is 40 degrees or above, allow a 1/4 inch of space between siding and trim at each end of the siding panel for expansion. If it's under 40 degrees, allow 3/8 of an inch spacing at each end, or a total of 3/4 of an inch. Begin nailing the center of the panel, working toward the ends. This helps maintain a level line. Nailing is one of the most important installation steps. While other sidings are nailed tight, vinyl siding and accessories must be nailed loose so they have room to expand and contract. Without room for movement, vinyl siding can develop an unsightly wavy appearance called oil canning. For proper nailing, position nails in the centers of the nail slots. If necessary, elongate the slot using a nail slot punch. Space nails no more than 16 inches apart, and always drive nails into solid wood. Drive nails straight in and never at an angle. Nails should be fastened into framing such as studs and structural sheathing a minimum of 1 1/4 inch. Building code requires 3/4 of an inch wood penetration. In most cases, this means fastening into studs. And to allow panels to move freely, leave about a 1/16 of an inch between the nail head and the nailing flange. Finally, never install a fastener into the face or hem of a panel without creating a nail slot to allow for expansion and contraction. Joining panels end to end is done by overlapping the panels 1 inch to 1 1/4 inches. This provides room for expansion at the joints for standard length panels. Try to always use factory notches. When you have to cut a panel to length, you must duplicate the factory cut notch at the top and bottom of the siding panel. This too will help prevent oil canning, but more importantly, it will lead to a beautiful installation. The Stud Finder installation system is a great way for you to quickly and accurately find the next stud when installing siding. The nail slots are positioned 16 and 24 inches on center to allow for alignment with studs. See the graphics centered directly under each nail slot. Here's how it works. Locate the first stud and fasten the panel in the center of the nail slot. Notice which letter appears below the slot. Move along the panel to the next time that letter appears. There will be a stud under it. This is how it works for nailing 16 inches on center. Where panels lap, of course, following panels may not use the same letter as the first panel. First, be sure your panel is overlapped correctly by 1 inch to 1 1/2 inches. Then simply measure 16 inches over from the last nail and find the starting point and letter for the second panel. For 24 inches on center nailing, we will have 2 letters repeating at every other stud. For example, if the first stud is located at the F, go to the next F and count 5 letters over. The next stud will be at that position, in this case, R. The letters will then repeat, with the next stud being at F, then at R, and so on. If you count out the slots for 24 inches on center, you'll see that there are a total of 15 slots each time. Installing siding panels under windows requires these easy steps. First, hold the panel in place and mark the width of the window opening. Be sure to add 1/4 inch to each side to allow for expansion, and subtract 1/4 inch from under the window. Then, install undersill trim inside the J-channel, trimming the window below the windowsill. Align the nail slots of each and nail accordingly. Cut the panel. Use a snap lock punch to raise tabs every 6 inches. Then slide the panel into the undersill trim so it locks on the tabs. Finally, nail the panel in place. The procedure is similar when fitting panels above windows and doors. To fit siding under eaves and at gable ends, you need to measure and cut carefully. In most cases, the siding course installed directly under an eave will have to be rip-cut to fit. Follow these steps to assure accuracy. If soffit is not already installed, first apply F-channel. Next, install J-channel along the eave, and then undersill trim. Be sure to line up the nailing slots before nailing, so you don't restrict the movement of the J-channel. You may need to add a furring strip under the undersill trim if the panel will be cut near a butt edge. An alternative way to handle trim at an eave is to use dual undersill trim. Dual undersill trim takes the place of the combination of undersill trim and a J-channel with furring strips. Simply nail the dual undersill trim up under the F-channel, and it receives the siding, whether it's trimmed near the lock or the butt of the panel. Measure the soffit or eave to the base of the upper lock on the previous course of panels. Subtract 1/4 inch. Mark this dimension on the panel to be cut. Rip-cut the panel using this dimension. Then punch tabs and install. Now, let's finish off the gable end. First, make a pattern that duplicates the gable slope by locking a short panel into position and placing another along the slope. Mark the angle. Unlock the panel and cut. Now, use this pattern to cut other panels and install to the top. Secure the top panel with a single nail. This is one of the very few times that face nailing is appropriate.